I don't think I've seen an album as controversial and divisive within the music community and even an artist's fan base for quite some time. And then Whole Lotta Red came out, and yeah. This album definitely came out of left field. Like, people were not expecting Carti to go in this direction. People were pretty much expecting, like, a Die Lit 2, based on all the songs that had leaked during the hiatus between Whole Lotta Red and Die Lit. Fans were expecting songs like Goku and Pissy Pamper, especially after, like, I think the entire album was leaked more than once. I don't know if it was his complete album, but like a lot of songs leaked because people were mad that he was taking so long, and he kept teasing fans saying, I'm gonna drop, not dropping, tweeting about wanting to drop, and then like it was 2 years pretty much that people were like, all right, I've had enough of this, so it got leaked, which is actually unfortunate because every time it got leaked, and if it was his like full album, he just had to start from scratch. So y'all kind of caused this. I'm not gonna lie, y'all kind of caused this. In retrospect, we definitely should have seen something along these lines coming, based on the Instagram posts and the tweeting and like all the social media stuff that he had put out, or like even his merch before it dropped. He released it maybe, I want to say 1 or 2 weeks before, but it had like upside down crosses and like demonic stuff, so quite fitting with the album that we got. Like, people were expecting the old Carti, old melodic flows, cool beats, more baby voice, which leading up to 2020 he had kind of amplified based on his numerous features, like Drake's Dark Lane demo tapes, his Pain 1993 feature, and even his single that dropped in like April, I think, of 2020, At Meh. It's pretty bad. It was a pretty bad song, and I'm glad it didn't end up on the album because like that was not a flattering song in Carti's discography. To get people's hopes even more up, it was announced that Kanye would be co-executive on this album, and it would release on Christmas. So like we were looking forward to a nice treat under the Christmas tree the next morning, and people were not happy with what we got. So when it finally dropped on Christmas and it wasn't what we were expecting, it got bashed so badly, especially on social media. Like, Instagram and Twitter was having a field day with him, tweeting like whole lot of mid, whole lot of garbage, whole lot of ass, which honestly I kind of feel bad because like on the release day, Carti started like a live stream on his Instagram and he got so many hate comments that he actually ended it early. That's so sad. Like, I feel so bad for him. He like put out a creative project and people were just taking a dookie on it. It was, dang. And honestly, I will say I was not that receptive towards it when I first heard it. But I do have an excuse. When it dropped, I was back home in Hawaii for Christmas break, and since stuff drops at 12 a.m. Eastern time, Hawaii is 6 hours behind, so it was only 6 p.m. Or was it 7 p.m.? I don't know. Okay, Hawaii doesn't do daylight savings, so sometimes it's 5 hours behind, sometimes it's 6 hours. I was at a family dinner, and I couldn't really like sit down and listen to the album in its entirety. I kind of just went through each song, played a snippet, maybe like 5 seconds of each, listened to the beginning, skipped to the middle, listened to a little bit, and just off that snippets, I was pretty disappointed too. I was like, bro, what is this? I was like, what are we doing here, Carti? When the dinner was finally over and I could sit down and listen to the whole album, I started to realize, like, it's pretty good. Like, there's a lot of good elements in it. As I listened to it more and more, it really started to grow on me. But yeah, given that it's now been almost like 4 or 5 months since it's dropped, people were definitely able to let it soak in, and I've seen a lot of people change their opinions on it. I really like this album for what it is. Like, I don't try to compare it that much toward his previous works because honestly, like, Carti's discography, even though he only has 3 full albums and like a bunch of leaks, I don't really count those, but it's pretty different. Like, he kind of goes with a different style, different vocal inflections, different directions in each album, which I think makes him stand out as an artist. I think it really shows his creative abilities, and like, I'm really excited to hear what he has next. But if you were to compare it, because it's inevitable, I think that the reason why he was so popular in his previous works were a lot of the beats that he had on the albums. The beats were what made songs like Shoota, Long Time, Flex, and even his breakout hit Magnolia so appealing to his audience. What made Whole Lotta Red stand out to me was not only the beats, because I really enjoyed the beats on this album, but just the energy that Carti put into almost all the songs on this. Like, I've never heard him go this hard on a song before. Like, he was putting 110% of his effort into it, and you can kind of tell that was the direction he was going even in the first song, Rockstar Made. Really like that song. The beat is just in your face, and Carti adds even more to it by just like these screaming lyrics and screaming ad-libs. Like, some of the ad-libs on this, they were kind of funny. They really add like energy and character into his songs. And I think the main problem that people have with this album is that some of the inflections can be a little weird and sometimes it doesn't work. But I think for the most part that it actually plays to this album's strengths. Like, just the energy his voice adds and his wide variety of vocal inflections he uses really makes the album enjoyable to me. Like, just take the vocals on Stop Breathing, which is my personal favorite song on the album, or even the song No Sleep, where he's kind of like whispering, but it's like a screaming whisper, which is really weird, but I think it works. Like, it plays over really well. And another highlight of Carti's inflections is the song Teen X with Future. I know a lot of people don't like this song. This is like one of the weirdest vocal style he uses in the album, but I really like it. Like, Future is one of the very few features on this album, but him and Carti worked together to create a song that sounds like you're getting high in an ice cream van, or like in a candy shop. It's a really sweet song. It makes you want to do like Xanax and a Baskin Robbins. Like, I don't know, but it's just a really fun song. And with all that being said, I cannot ignore the faults within his inflections, because there are times like Jump Out the House where it really just, it doesn't work. Jump Out the House to me was wasted potential, because the beat made it sound like it was gonna go really hard, but then Carti came in with just this weird, out of tune, super high pitched vocals. And even like before he starts getting super weird, when he just starts saying Jump Out the House, I don't know if it was the mix or just his weird style, but when he says house, he sounds like he's like taking a bite of something. He's like, house, jump out the house. So I was like, all right, not really rocking with that, but let's see where this song goes. And then he just goes into this weird transitions. Like, every line he says, his vocal style changes, but it doesn't change for the better. It gets worse as the song progresses. And even though it's like a 1 minute, 30-second song, by halfway through, you're just like, all right, I can't do this, man. I can't listen to this. What is this? And like I said, the one redeeming quality of this song is the beat, which I enjoy and I think is a really big strength of this album. I think the beats are really great. Like, take the song Metamorphosis with another feature with Kid Cudi, where he actually mixes Kid Cudi's classic hums into the beat itself. Like, so the humming is the beat, which I think is really cool. I haven't really heard a Kid Cudi song do that before, so I thought that was really interesting. Another beat I really enjoyed was Vamp Anthem. Like, this is an anthem for vampires. I think that's what Carti was going for, and he completely nailed it on that song. And his theme with vampires and demons and stuff really runs through the whole album, which I think gives the album more of a complete feel than his previous works, especially the self-titled project. They just sound like a bunch of really good songs kind of just thrown together. And in terms of lyrics, not really that much to say here, because when you're listening to a Carti tape, you're not there for the lyrics exactly. Like, okay, I don't get the whole hip-hop old heads, the purists in hip-hop that are like, bruh, like, what is this? They're just mumbling. He's not saying anything. Well, not every song has to be about spiritual, lyrical, miracle, individual. Someone should tell these dudes, like, it's okay to have fun. Like, you can put on a song to have fun. Like, songs with meaning and lyricism are great, but like, sometimes I just want to listen to Lil Uzi talk about standing on his money.
In reality, I'm 5'4". Stand on my money, now I'm 6'6". Stand on my money, I'm 7'10".
And I stand on my money, your bitch think I'm Julius Erving.
Stand on my money, I'm tall like Simba. June. Stand on my money, I'm tall as Pippin. Stand on my money, he got some height on me. Stand on my money like my name Shaquille. I stand on my money, then my height it turn to 9'10".
Because it's fun to listen to. I forgot to mention this when I first recorded this video, but I just wanted to say that I think Carti really improved on his lyrics in this one. Not by much, but there were definitely a lot more catchier one-liners, a lot more memorable lyrics, which I thought added a lot more personality to the album, which I enjoyed. And he actually goes into detail about like what's been going on with him on the track Punk Monk, which is not really one of my favorite tracks on the album, but he does talk a lot about how basically the music industry and his record label and other artists have kind of pushed him aside and made him like an outcast basically. And he even name drops a bunch of people. Like he talks about Pierre Bourne, he talks about how he wanted to sign Trippie Redd and even Lil Keed. But after like all the slights that other artists and other people have done to him, like he said, he's not really friendly towards these people, and he's kind of comfortable being an outcast and like an underdog in the industry, which I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, that's all I wanted to add. I don't think this is a perfect album either. The main issue that I have with this album is the length and Carti playing it too safe. Like he kind of took a safer route than he could have with his artistic direction. First of all, the length. And while it's not a long album, most of those songs are about minute to 2 minutes, which I really like because I think when it's just Carti without any features, if he comes in and just kind of says what he wants to say, gets what he wants to get done in 2 minutes and gets out of there, I think that's a success. But while I do appreciate the length of the songs, I don't appreciate the length of the album. At 24 songs, it's quite a long album. Even though the song times are short, it still feels like there were a lot of filler. And that kind of leads into my next criticism of the album, that Carti played it too safe. In his defense, I think he kind of knew that people wouldn't be that open to this album. I feel like he kind of just threw in a couple songs that would have been better on Die Lit or even his self-titled. Like some tracks that I can think of that do just that to make his old Carti fans happy are Place, Not Playing, and I Love You, I Hate You, which I will give I Love You, I Hate You a pass just because I really like that song, even though I think it would have been better on Die Lit. So if I were Carti and I were to make a better album, in my opinion, first of all, I would delete some of the filler tracks. I would get rid of Not Playing, I'd get rid of Place, I'd get rid of Beano, because Beano kind of sounded like At Me, and I don't like either of those songs. I would also extend Go to the Moon, because I think that there was a lot more potential in that song that wasn't fully fleshed out. Kanye came in with a great Kanye-esque verse. He had some pretty funny one-liners in that one. Like the Budapest line was pretty funny. But Carti really didn't get a spot. He kind of just came in at the end, said a couple stuff, and then left, and then the song was over. So I think that if he had extended that and extended the mix, because I think there's a mix on like YouTube or something where they took the sample that they use in that song and extended it, I thought it made the song better. I would also shorten Metamorphosis. I love the song, but 5 minutes is too long for that song, I think. By Carti's like second or third verse, you're just like, all right, let's pick it up. I would also try to salvage Jump Out the House, because I think with the right vocal inflections and the right mixing, it could have been a really good song. And the final thing I'd do is take out DJ Academic's intro on Control, because I'm not trying to listen to DJ Academic's talk for 40 seconds before I get into a really good song. I'm just not. I don't want to listen to him talk about Carti dropping and him having like insider knowledge about the album. Like, bro, shut up, please. No one's trying to listen to you, dude. I don't think anyone that listened to this album enjoyed that intro. So this review comes at a time where Carti has announced a deluxe version in the works. And knowing his timeline of releasing, we might not see that till like 2025, but hopefully it comes soon. Some things I really want to happen on the deluxe is I really want him to get his vocals down. In his defense, switching from a slow melodic kind of flow and letting the beats carry you to screaming, it's a big change, and for that to happen in such a short amount of time, he kind of just jumped into the deep end with it, which honestly I kind of respect him for that. So like, it's understandable that he can't nail and iron out all the kinks in his vocal inflections, but I think if he really tunes it up and works on it and maybe mixes it a little better, I think he can do some great stuff. Because this album could have been really good. Like, it could have been a 10 out of 10. Like, it could have been one of my favorite albums ever, which it was one of my favorite albums of 2020. Check that video out if you haven't. But unfortunately, due to his lack of experience and kind of the length and him playing it too safe, it really decreased my enjoyment of the album, which is not to say that I didn't like it. Like, I liked it a lot, but it's not a perfect album. Overall, Playboi Carti, Whole Lotta Red, 7 out of 10. But I think that the idea and the artistic direction and just the creativity of this album bumps it up. This kind of album is something that the mainstream hasn't really seen before. Like, I know that there's kind of niche underground stuff that probably Carti borrowed ideas from. Like, I'm sure that this is not a completely new concept, but for him as like such a big figure in music to do it and put it out in the mainstream, I think that this will definitely inspire a lot of future artists to build from. It definitely will help to create a newer sound for artists to expand upon and make even better stuff. And for that reason, it's really an 8 out of 10.